Good morning once again, and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. We appreciate you listening. Feel free to give us a call at 612-504-8400. Visit us online at havenfinancialgroup.com. Check out our calendar of events, several of them. They're all on our website, several here in May. The 21st, we have an advanced RMD planning for inherited accounts, advanced RMD planning for those getting close to age 73. May 28th, Kim, we have how to safeguard your property from probate in the courts.
Wow.
Again, putting that on with our partners from Provision Law, Carrie, Keith, and Lexi, and they're all educational. They're all laid back. There's nothing stuffy. It's not a timeshare sales meeting, so you don't have to be scared of that. And guess
There's
what?
no test at the end. Do you have to take a test or anything?
It's a pass-fail. It's a pass-fail. Yeah. And everybody's going to pass, so don't worry about that. Sometimes you maybe step into our education center and you're nervous. It's nothing to be nervous about. In fact, my wife usually has fancy treats or whatever else. And, we're coffee snobs and we have every beverage, I think, in the fridge. So, again, it's educational, but we also like to have fun with it.
Absolutely. 612-504-8400. That's how you get hold of the folks at Haven Financial Group. And if you're interested in one of these sessions, be sure you check it out at havenfinancialgroup.com. We've been talking about retiring in this environment right now and, stability and protection of your wealth and some of the ways that you can make sure that there's an income stream for you consistently throughout your retirement. We want to talk now about mistakes that you definitely want to try to avoid when you're transitioning into retirement, whether it's during these, kind of rocky economic times or any time. These are mistakes that you definitely want to try to avoid. So let's get started. And the first one, Larry, that I see here, planning to work indefinitely. This is one that I've heard you talk about many times, and it really goes back to that idea that life doesn't always go the way we plan it.
Well, certainly we know we have our plan, or at least we hope we have a plan. And for some people, I'm just going to work and work and work, and that's just the way it's going to be. And then guess what? Life's calendar doesn't always cooperate with our calendar, and that oftentimes is the case. It backfires. Health issues, I hope not. Job market changes, a pink slip. Maybe some listeners say, yeah, I got forced out by younger people. I know that's not legal, but unfortunately I see it. I hear about it. So planning to work indefinitely, be careful. This one that also comes to mind, and I think we're going to cover 8 of them, avoiding the stock market. We like the stock market. We're not small. As an independent firm, we manage with Schwab and Fidelity and the investment team. And, hey, we like the market. However, because of the age group we serve, we want folks to be more aware and have a better understanding about how much risk they're taking. But, staying away completely from many people is not the answer. But on the flip side of that coin is we also see a lot of folks, they have no idea how much risk they're taking, and they're overexposed to the market. So it's a fine line, not enough or just right. Problem is most people don't know. And again, if you have a good partner, they can walk you through and explain what is your comfort level so you're in the right place at the right time.
Sure. Claiming Social Security too early. We just talked about this. That is a mistake that a lot of people make.
They do, which is why a conversation, an educational conversation goes a long way. Because one thing I say, and we say in our Social Security classes, you have to figure it out on your own. Now, we help people with it. Oftentimes, Social Security doesn't make any sense. So if you're a survivor benefit, ex-spousal benefit, divorce benefits, doesn't always make sense. And if you make no decision or a wrong decision, the Social Security Administration is never going to call you and say, well, Kim, why are you doing it that way? You're doing it wrong. You should be doing it this way. They're never going to call you, so you have to figure it out on your own.
Sure. Yeah, they're certainly not going to call you and say, wow, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table. You shouldn't do that. Right. No one calls you to tell you that, unfortunately. Nope. Long-term care. A lot of people, either, number one, Larry, a lot of people just aren't educated enough on long-term care and the need for it, or they think that long-term care is just out of the realm of possibility for them when it comes to the expense.
Yes, so it's why Glenn Ramey's been on with us many times over the years. Glenn is our expert in the office on long-term care, life insurance, Medicare, supplements, Advantage, et cetera. There's some much better viable long-term care options that many of the listeners I know are not aware of. Asset-based long-term care on annuities, where you don't lose it if you don't use it. A lot of folks are listening right now, long-term care. You got exposed to it back when somebody tried to sell you a Cadillac plan that nobody in their right mind could even afford.
Right.
And that's what you know about long-term care.
Right.
70% of us are going to need some sort of care. Staggering statistic. I encourage folks, come in and visit with Glenn. You'd be surprised at the more viable options that are there. And it doesn't mean you have to be wealthy or rich, just maybe have some monies to put towards it. And again, your kids taking care of you is probably not going to be the plan that's going to be executed appropriately.
That could be the 9th mistake that we're talking about. It's
sure.
banking on that.
For sure.
Another mistake that I think a lot of people do, and sometimes it's not a mistake. Sometimes it's a necessity, but it can be real tough on your life, and that's borrowing from your retirement fund early. Things happen, along the way, and you think you have to borrow from there, and that can really cause you problems down the road.
Yeah, life happens, get it. But, tapping into these retirement accounts before retirement probably doesn't go very good. Taking loans from the 401k can disrupt your savings growth and reduce future contributions and jeopardize your retirement security altogether. Or even borrowing against life insurance, okay? And the interest rate, you have no idea what the interest rate inside that life insurance. So it's another way. So it's not just the retirement accounts, but remember, these are designed for retirement. The sooner you tap into these, and especially if you tap into them early, and I just had somebody in that did that, and they paid all kinds of penalties. We want to avoid the penalties and the interest to the best of our ability, because that takes away from your retirement buying power. Avoid it at all costs. I understand there's circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. There are circumstances. I think calling that a mistake is a tough way to categorize it. It's just something that you want to try to avoid. You talk about this a lot, and this is another reason why having a partner is so important. And that's that constant adjustment of your portfolio, looking at it again, diversifying, keeping it updated. You can't make a plan at 58 and just let it sit.
Yeah, rebalancing the portfolio. There's staggering statistics on how much that can improve the overall performance. Some people are doing none of that. Their advisors or firm isn't even doing any of it. Oftentimes in 401ks, it's not being done. It's just so important to rebalance the portfolios, having the right asset allocation. It's what the Haven investment team strives to achieve. Tax loss harvesting. Making sure you're doing what you can to minimize taxes. We talk a lot about that. So again, rebalancing is certainly very, very, very important. And then on the flip side, in our projections and planning is, many folks underestimate their expenses in retirement. Many listening probably think, because you've heard this, that, I'm married, and when the first one of us goes, the expenses are going to get cut in half. That doesn't happen. Rarely does the expenses get cut in half. So miscalculating expenses in retirement. One that's underestimated is healthcare costs. Mm-hmm. It's in our plan. We want to budget, and most people have not budgeted enough for healthcare. So expenses, that budget isn't something we want to do, but it may be something we should be addressing to find out where the money is being spent. And then what's a backup plan? You know what? In a marriage, one person maybe likes to do the investments and on this type of thing, and they handle everything. Make sure your spouse is a good position. Make sure there's a relationship that's being kindled together and put together. Again, you might be a do-it-yourselfer investor, and that's fine. But make sure your spouse is in the know, because I can visualize so many of those that lost a loved one, had no clue what was going on, and now they're trying to pick up the pieces. And when you lose a loved one, that's not the time to start trying to put together a relationship. You should have had that in place to begin with.
Right.
And it's just sad to see, because it can be avoided.
Absolutely. Well, these are 8 mistakes, and there are a number of things that you want to try to avoid. We call them mistakes here, but really, no one's trying to make mistakes, but sometimes you're just making decisions that you needed somebody to walk through with you before you make that decision. And it's a difference between surviving and thriving when it comes to retirement. There's no two ways about that. So that's why we want to encourage you to give the folks at Haven Financial Group a call if you're looking for a partner to put together the kind of retirement that you've always dreamed of. 612-504-8400. You give them a call, tell them you heard us here on the radio. You'd like to just come in and sit down and just talk a little bit about your situation. Every retirement's different, and the folks at Haven Financial Group certainly recognize that.
Yeah, have a good partner that's in your court. Retirement's more than a meeting once a year for 45 minutes to an hour. If that's all the attention you're getting, then you're not getting the attention you deserve for the amount of money that you're paying. Kim, always good to be with you. Look forward to being with you next week. And again, feel free to give us a call, 612-504-8400, or visit us online at havenfinancialgroup.com.